What's up, guys? And on this particular episode, we are going to be talking about first Bishop Zondo and also Apostle Makananisa. Now, we're going to be talking about them, particularly on recent, just small little recent updates. One attaching Bushiri, and then the other one of biblical leadership, particularly with something that Bishop Zondo goes to say. Now, with Bishop Zondo, he's talking about his legal case, and then Apostle Makananisa is spoken about in Bushiri's legal case or recent update of his appearance in court very recently. And so, pretty latest stuff and all on legal stuff. It's the Reality Show with daily Christian commentary videos. If it's the first time over here to be show, check out the other videos that are down in the pinned comments, and I'm going to check you out over there. Now, I did see that there was like a post thing that was made by the Isijerians over on Bushiri's page, okay? And this particular post goes, where is that? Right here. All right. So they posted that, due to cross-examination, state witness Sbongile, who presented before the Malawi court the 9 cases, particularly of people he supposedly forced himself on, was challenged by the affidavit. What is talking about cases that were withdrawn and stuff like that, because they're still trying to present for why he should be extradited back. Now it says these women had even gone to withdraw the charges, okay, according to this ECG page. They had withdrawn the charges from police and the South African courts after they regretted to have been used by they name a particular colonel there in Apostle Makananisa. So this post from the ECG page and is actually accusing Apostle Makananisa to be involved in the coup to try and get Bushiri arrested. It's a lot. That's not what I'm saying. That's what the post actually says. Now, it's not something new. They have spoken about this thing that they are saying here. It's not like I'm making it up or something. It's something that's been there. And so that's what they said. Now, for reference sake, okay, is Apostle Makananisa, in our view, a person that goes on the biblical route, okay? There are certain things that Apostle Makananisa, in my view, does that question what's going on over there. For example, I'll highlight this particular one right here. So supposedly praying for this lady, on and on and on, and this person, he throws a pillow to, and the pillow is supposedly anointed and whatnot. Might have to cut that particular portion. And so YouTube does not like anything that looks like it, or anything. YouTube might not like that. So he does these weird things. Like the other person he threw the pillow at, and the person just went numb. They lost control of their body, which is things that we question from a doctrinal perspective. Apart from all these things, so I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm not saying he's a good pastor, he's a good prophet, you can go over there. No. He does have dodgy doctrines. Okay? So apart from what the Bushiri people are saying over there, personally, I still do not see him as a good reference for a pastor. Now, this actually translates on to something that Bishop Zondo was talking about. He was talking about how he kind of can understand when people go through difficult. But I want you to hear something that he says when he's breaking down his thing. Okay? Just a second. and I'll tell you what my thoughts are on this one.
After that is the one that appears.
I said, o hlokomele batho ba o tsheyang ha o wa.
Be careful
O
of the
tsebe hore
people that
bona le
are
bona ba
nothing to
ntse ba le
you when you go
moo.
down. Just know that they are the ones that are there.
And then ha ke tabe ke re modimo,
Then after that I said, God,
ke rapela mohau ho yena.
I am praying grace upon him.
Ke a mo rapella.
I am praying.
So it's supposedly someone that might have been laughing at him when he was going his thing. That's how he sees it. Remember, this crowd of deliverance, they are very obsessed with enemies. Everyone is an enemy. A person who doesn't agree with them is an enemy. And so that
I
context.
tseba pain ya ka hare ho
I
yona.
know the pain that
Because
is
I'm
in.
going through the same
Hobane
thing.
ke feta moo le nna.
But nna ke rapela.
But when
Wena o
I
tla nkutlwa.
you will hear me
Hobane ke a e tseba ntho e ke e rapelang.
because I know what I am
Somebody
Opposed to the other person?
give some praise in the house.
Hallelujah.
They are after your harvest.
Bona ba ka morago ga puno
They
ya
look
gago.
at what you do.
Ba lebella gore na o dira eng.
They can talk about it
Ba ka bolela ka yona.
to gain favor from people.
Gore ba une
But
molemo go
they
tswa go
like
ba.
they like you.
Enke ba go
But
rata.
if they find an opportunity
Empa ge ba ka khumana
to
monyetla
kill you like Cain,
go bolaya go swana le Kaine,
they will do it.
ba tla dira jwalo.
Wa bona ke kene MK.
You see, I entered into MK.
There are new enemies ka mogare.
Go na le di
Yes,
rate di
group
msa.
e tleng ke bo mang hape? Ke baruti.
They are pastors.
So he has new enemies then. Wherever they go, they have enemies.
Ma banne ke le court.
Yesterday I was in
Ba
court.
teng ba boneng.
The people that I saw,
Ke baruti.
they are pastors.
Ke batle ke rapela ke re modimo ba se ke ba shwa pele ba feta mo ke fetileng
I
teng.
nearly prayed to say, God, they must not die
So
before
that they
they
can
pass where
leave
I'm
a
passing.
positive message.
Gore bona ba-
Okay, that's the part I wanted. That's the part I wanted. Now, that's why I wanted to address both the story on Apostle Makananisa and this one. As you can hear, Bishop Zondo says, just because people see him as a person who is not reliable, right? I'm using that particular context. Just because people can see him as a person who is not reliable doctrinally, he almost prayed, that they shouldn't. He hopes that they don't die without passing through what he faced. And I thought, what kind of a prayer is that? What kind of a prayer is that? If you're praying for someone, is that the kind of a prayer that you make? Is that a kind of a prayer that the Bible tells us to make? Doesn't it say pray for those that are enemies? They're the ones who choose to have enemies or choose to see people as enemies. And then at the same time, they don't do what the Bible tells them about enemies. They are there hoping, I almost prayed. I almost prayed that let them not die before they pass through what he is going through. There are people you would hear when they are going through their difficulty, you'll hear them saying, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. They're the very same people that speak of these people as enemies. Comparisons between these two stories that I was thinking about. Whatever beef these people have, whatever beef was between Makananisa and Bushiri, a lot of times you will see followers then chime themselves in and enter into the beef. I stand with my father. I stand with my father. The other one is on the other side. The other one is on the other side. Let's jump back to Bishop Zondo's analogy here. He almost prayed that may they not die before they go through what he's seen, so that they can have a positive report, so that they can have a report that fits whatever narrative he would rather they have. If you were on either side, right? So we are using Bishop Zondo's saying to analyze what happened, what happened between Makananisa and think. If you were to use these people's theology, and try and find a middle ground, you can find yourself very much lost. because you'll end up following people and not following the Bible. That's why I highlighted my areas of issues with Apostle Makananisa, is that he has very dodgy doctrines over there. He has very dodgy things that he does in his church that I just don't get. So when people are fitting themselves into, my father has a fight with this one, my spiritual father has a fight with this one, a lot of times what tends to happen is that they deviate away from using scriptural reference so that they can have a biblical viewpoint on a subject, which is what the Bible tells us to do. As a believer, that's what you should seek to do. Not taking sides. You should seek to come with a biblical thing. I remember I did a recent story now. I'm talking about living gracefully as a believer with other people. Then there were people that was talking about rules. There was rules. Everyone was in complete disagreement. Might he have been right about the subject matters of rules? Yes. But as a believer, sometimes you would rather be seen in the wrong. Why? To follow the route that the Bible would advise you to. That's why the Bible says you would rather be defrauded than to be up and down with things, which is what the Bible actually says. If you take sides, a lot of times what ends up happening is that you end up losing sight of what the Bible teaches. He almost prayed. May they not die before they take the route of seeing whatever viewpoint he has, instead of taking the biblical route. They must take the biblical route. It's not that they must face your difficulty. No, they must take the biblical route in every viewpoint. But then people choose these things of, I'm going to stand with this one, I'm going to stand, without realizing what it does. It makes you ineffective for making biblical application. And I thought that was a thing that I wanted to bring into this particular subject. Be careful of being made to take sides without noting your biblical position. Okay? At the end of the day, it is God that we are following. We don't follow man. Don't be made to take sides. Oh no, my spiritual father is the one that's right. But you have not considered what is the biblical route for you. What does the Bible say? You are busy considering what man says. He says, count everyone wrong than God to be true. Meaning, everyone, you should come to a point where you think there is a possibility that everyone is wrong. What does the Bible say? Because with men, you'll go into error. They are naming people into court cases now. They are naming people into court cases and whatnot. But if you are taking things the biblical route and not trying to choose sides because this one you favor, this one you don't favor, you'll have a very balanced view. A lot of times people are choosing spiritual father, spiritual what, without considering what is the biblical route. It's Ricky. I'll tell me what you think, and I'll see you on a later on episode. Other episodes down today will be down in the pinned comments, and I'm going to check you out on a later on episode.